Hello. Welcome
That's kind of sad.
to yet another PlayStation education.
Another white boy trying to beatbox but fail.
Hey, the internet doesn't have enough of those. We need more of those, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, today we're going to talk about a subject that is truly near and dear to my heart. We finally got him to do it, folks. He's finally buckled down and played Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. Quick round of applause.
Hey, if we're editing, we could add an applause here.
So,
What applause sounds like a snake?
I don't know. Goes the $60 billion man. Anyway.
Why is that up? Never mind.
Anyway, continuing on,
Go.
we finally gotten to play The Last of Us. He has just finished Summer, which is it's the first quarter of the game, but it's more than a third of the game. It's by far the longest portion of it. Now, we are going to go into spoilers, but we're not going to start in spoilers. We're going to get with some initial reactions. We'll talk a little bit about gameplay, controls. Then we'll get into spoilers. And, of course, we have 3 more videos that come after this, and we'll go deeply into spoilers and in those particular sections. So, first, we're going to talk about how your initial feelings. How do you feel about this game versus, say, The Walking Dead?
Wow. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Walking Dead was like off the charts amazing, but I mean, this takes it to a whole new level because it has that great story, and it's you got mechanics. You got just all around. It's just like it has everything: the world, the story. It definitely the best game. Like I've only played the first part. I'm like, okay, this game's awesome. Best game ever. Okay, again, best single player because I'm a huge co-op guy. So,
well, there's a meme going around now where it's this one guy and he's flirting with this girl, and on the guy, they have superimposed The Last of Us, and the girl says on her it says the video game of the year award, and then like he's doing a little flirty thing, and then this ugly boyfriend comes out of nowhere and it says Grand Theft Auto 5. So. I am super curious how this is going to turn out.
I don't understand why the Grand Theft games are so popular.
The only Grand Theft Auto game I actually finished, the story mode wise, is Vice City. I actually really love Vice City. I love the world. I love what they did with that game. But we already had this discussion. I actually enjoyed the Jak and Daxter games as open world games more than Last of Us. I enjoyed Infamous way more than I liked Grand Theft Auto. And there's nothing against those games. They're fun games, but...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Again, it's the comparison thing. Like, I think they're fun as well, but it's... I don't know.
So I'm really interested to see where the video game of the year award winds up. I never even got through half of Grand Theft Auto 4. I'm hoping 5 is really good. I probably won't pick it up day one. Nothing against the game, just I don't have time. I don't have money. And but if it's really good, I'll pick it up eventually on PSN. But anyway, continuing on.
Back on track here.
So now we're going to get a little bit into spoiler territory. How does the game begin? You begin as Joel, right? Kicking butt?
Nope, you begin as his daughter.
Oh, daughter. So none of the promotion material did we ever hear about a daughter. Who is she?
He's his daughter.
Sarah.
Yeah, you didn't ask the name. You asked who she was. I'm like, her daughter.
Yeah.
Anyways, you start as her Uncle Tommy, Joel's brother, calls in a panic. She doesn't know what's going on, so she has to find her dad. There's a cute little scene beforehand. She has to stay up and wait for him. He comes home. She realizes, it's still technically today,
Yeah.
And gives him his birthday gift, which is just a watch. She noticed that he'd been complaining a lot about how he broke his watch. So she got him a new watch and everything. It's cute and everything. Well, all hell starts to break loose.
Well, remember he gives it to her. He makes the joke, "Oh, it's broken. It's not working." She's like, "What?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm just asking you." And then later on, 20 years down the road,
which I was going to get to after we got to the part that led to the 20 years.
Okay. So we'll put a pin in that.
Pin in that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All heck breaks loose.
Yes, all heck breaks loose because, she gets the call. She looks for her dad. She sees dad running in real quick. Joel turns around and has to kill their neighbor, who's gone all crazy on them. They run outside. Tommy, they jump in the truck. And everyone's running. There's people everywhere. There's certain things happening that you're just shocked by. They finally get to out of the city, but there's a huge traffic jam. Everybody and their brother and their mother had the same idea. Yeah. And someone got out of their car to yell at the people in front of them, which was a dumb move because we'll go with zombies or just creatures or infected?
The They call them the infected runners.
They're classified. Yeah, these were classified as the runners because that's where that's the first stage. They showed up and completely killed that guy and the person in his passenger seat. So they back up, try to get out of there. Slowly going, trying to get through everyone, and eventually they get rammed by an RV.
Now the whole time this is going on, he's controlling the girl. He can move around in the car, have her look around in the back seat, have her try to look forward and look out the passenger side door or the window. It's pretty neat.
Yep. And then you switch over to Joel because you finally get out of the car. You have to carry her. Her leg's all screwed up. You're trying to run with her in your arms. Really difficult, obviously. Tommy's helping you out. He's got a gun at least, so that's helpful. So he's trying to protect you. You guys actually duck into a alleyway and into a house because they start flooding all over the place and people are dying left and right.
There's a coin by the illustrious Colin Moriarty. Naughty Dog likes to put in young Drake moments. If you remember in Uncharted 3, there was a big young Drake moment. No one ever saw that coming. No one thought that would happen. The beginning of this game, I feel, is a young Drake moment. You'd never think that, by looking at the cover of this game, I'm going to play a 14-year-old girl, no weapons, nothing. All I can do is walk around in my pajamas and avoid getting eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's game of the year.
Well, eventually Tommy stays back inside the bar or whatever, and you run through for safety to hold them off. You keep going, and you end up getting chased. You're just booking it as fast as you can. You're getting someone trying to chase you down. Run by an ambulance, and someone crawls out of it. Oh, well, they're infected. So you're just trying to get away from these two guys, and they catch up to you, and right before you get eaten, if you will, someone shoots them both. It ain't Tommy, though. It's just some guy in I guess military.
He goes to the National Guard
or whatever. Yeah, he's got his gun on them, and he's like, "Don't move," and he's pleading with them. Hey, I got a little kid here. Look, we're not infected. I swear, we're not infected. And so he calls it in, and all you hear is, "But there's a little girl." And he lifts the gun, and he goes, "No." And so he tries to turn away real quick, and he gets shot. And then you get another shot as Tommy shows up and kills the guy. And Joel has been shot, not too bad though. Well, I think he got in the arm.
Yeah, grazed.
And he turns, and his daughter was shot in the stomach.
If you have time, I'm gonna have you watch the video, the behind the scenes video that I got as part of the bundle for buying the DLC early. They talk about this scene. They made him record this scene several times to the point where he actually almost had an emotional breakdown, had to leave and do it on another day. That's how many times they made him redo this scene over and over and over again. And it was a pretty gut punchy scene.
Yeah, it was. And so that's how it ends. His daughter dies, not by any infected, but she was shot.
Yeah. That pretty much sets the tone, I think, for the game.
It's 20 years later.
In the trailer, he likes to say, it's not the effect I'm worried about. It's him being Bill. We'll talk about Bill in a second, but it's not them effect I'm worried about. It's the living.
Yeah, because they'd be crazy. Yeah.
So fast forward 20 years.
20 years later, Joel is an older man, obviously. Mm-hmm. Got the gray coming in, but still kind of a BA. Obviously, 20 years learned a lot. Fighting and just how to shoot better and all that. He's actually partnered up with a girl named Tess. Mm-hmm. They go around and they do trades. They sneak cargo out of the city. Mm-hmm. That's under martial law.
They're basically smugglers.
Yes, they're smugglers. Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of a drunk, angry older Han Solo. How do you feel about playing as a character who's about 50 years old? Considering most video game characters are either rambunctious 16-year-old who has the power to save the galaxy, or they're 30-year-old grizzled military buff.
It's definitely a different concept, but he's like I say, still kind of a BA. I mean, there's plenty of people. There's plenty of people in their 50s that I'm terrified of, who could easily break me in half.
Dad,
yeah, I know.
Dad, if you're watching this, you're a BA,
and you scare us sometimes.
So continue on.
Continuing on.
Mm-hmm. They okay, real quickly with Tess.
Yeah.
Did you get a certain vibe from them?
She bossed him around something fierce.
And he kind of put up with it.
Yeah.
I think they were a couple.
Think they were a couple?
Yeah. I especially the way she says things like, you got to feel like there's an obligation here. Talking about them. He keeps on referring to themselves as them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's really got this big fight. At one point, they were an item, and I think his drinking and his just a woe is me pity party, likes to be a jerk attitude finally got to her, and she's like, okay, this can't work out romantically, but I kind of need you business wise.
Which makes sense. I mean, yeah. Anyways, though, they're going to find an old friend of theirs. Friend. After you kill a whole crap load of people and track him down.
Space bunnies.
Air bunnies. Space bunnies, like way up chair, yo.
I'm bunnies!
Anyway,
do with all these space bunnies. Break continue. Tests.
They catch up with the guy. He ends up selling all their guns and all the stuff that they needed and were smuggling and everything.
And he's sold to a group that calls themselves the Fireflies. Who is this group?
They are a group of... they're a little more extreme than just protesters. I think that's how they probably started. But they are against the military and all these soldiers who are cracking down on martial law on these areas.
They're basically a militant group whose objective is to install their own form of government.
Yeah. There's a scene when you're walking around where they pull people out of the building and they throw them on the ground. They check them with this scanner, and the one guy ends up being affected, and they shoot him dead.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Do what you have to survive.
Yeah. So at this point, the soldiers are just as big of a problem as any bandits. If you stay inside the city, you mind your own business, you do what they say, the soldiers aren't a problem, but at the same time, they don't necessarily have your best interest at heart. So
we'll talk more about the world building in one of the future episodes.
Yeah.
We don't got a lot of time here. So moving on, you
find him.
Yep, find him.
You end up killing him.
Yeah.
He's like, yep, screw it, you're a jackwagon. Not happening.
You don't have my guns, you don't have a life.
Yep. And then the leader, is she the leader? A leader?
It's heavily implied she's some form of importance to this organization.
She's one of the higher ups of the Fireflies. Needed him. And
her and Joel have a little bit of a history through his brother.
Yes.
The brother you see in the beginning of Uncle Tommy.
Yeah.
He used to be a Firefly. The reason why he's not any longer will come to you here in the fall.
All right. So yeah, I don't know that yet. Yeah. So they follow her back. She's been a little wounded. You get her back, and you run into this little girl who has quite a mouth.
Quite a mouth for 14 years old. She was actually, since, of course, it's been 20 years since the incident. This girl's 14 years old, which means the only world she's ever known is this world.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah. By the name of?
Ellen Page.
Close, Ellie.
I know, that's what she looks like.
She doesn't look that much like it. She's got mousy brown hair and freckles.
Honestly,
and a forehead.
No, okay, bullcrap. Everyone knows that Ellen Page is who they based it off of. And Ellie, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyways, point being, Ellen Page. Yeah, well, she ends up being your next object you have to smuggle.
Yes.
Of course, you don't, as Joel, you don't want to do it. You think it's dumb. But
you promised all the guns that got taken from you and sold to the Fireflies and extra.
Then some.
Yes.
And initially, it's not that big of a deal. It's only the place you have to take them is not too far. You take her, excuse me. And so Tess is the one who talks you into it. So you go. You end up getting caught by soldiers, and while they're checking little Ellen Page there, she stabs the guy in the leg, and you're like, oh crap. So you end up getting into a fight, and you end up killing a bunch of soldiers and trying to hide, and you realize that the scanner said that she was infected. And she really reveals something, that she's been bitten in the arm, and she had been bitten 3 weeks ago. And
it normally takes less than 48 hours for you to turn. So there's something wrong, or possibly something very right going on with this little girl. That's why she's so important to the Fireflies.
Yup. So after going through everything, finally getting out of the sewers, getting out of past infected soldiers, absolute chaos. You finally get to where you were supposed to meet them, and you find out they're all dead. So Joel wants to stop. Tess is so passionate that you can keep going. There's another place that we can head to. It's obviously super far away. This is when you just she obviously kind of implies he could go to Tommy because he used to be a Firefly, which is eventually what you end up doing. But the reason why you fall through on this is because Tess also reveals something. Spoilers. She had been bitten. And she revealed to Joel that not only should be bitten, but it was only an hour ago. and she's already feeling it.
She's already starting to turn.
She says this has to be real because even if she lied about the 3 weeks, it has been multiple days since they got a hold of the little girl, Ellen Page.
And she's still not turning.
So she believes full-heartedly that this is the answer they need. So she makes Joel promise, and she decides to hold off some of the soldiers that show up. She gets gunned down and taken out a few of them, which is too surprising. But, she figured that's a better way to go than actually turning in one of those creatures.
Yes.
As you go through, you find out that a next stage is called clickers. It's when the spores, the thing that affects you, you've been affected so long, it literally just takes over your face, and
the spore is actually a fungus, and it affects the brain, starts growing from there. So when it gets to the point where it starts growing out of the head, it grows out of the front and kind of peels back. So you kind of got this weird split mushroom face going on.
Yes, and
why not Zoidberg?
They make this really annoying and creepy clicking sound.
Since it goes to the front of the head, they can't see anymore, so they get around through clicking, making noises. That's why they call them clickers.
Yeah, they're obviously a little bit harder to kill. Usually you sit, and if you don't move, once they literally run into you, they can't really tell you're there. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously they get close enough they can tell because of the sound waves and crap, but they go by listening mainly. So you gotta be quiet, and you gotta sneak up on them, shank them a couple times. You get a little shiv, white power. Anyways.
What?
Sorry. Anyways. That's loads of fun. So as you're going through, you go over to a friend of Joel's and Tess, and named Bill. He's kind of crazy.
He's a little crazy. He's basically taken over a town that's been abandoned, and he just put up a bunch of traps and fences and
barricades and everything. And he lives there. He's got different armories and everything all over the place, and he's surviving. He's really by himself in one town, and he's kicking butt.
Mm-hmm. Did all right for himself.
So eventually, Joel plays a few cards, saying, "Hey, you owe me this, 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 and this." And so they pretty much came to agreement that once I help you get this vehicle, we're square, we're done.
Yeah.
They were able to salvage enough parts from different things to put a battery and all this other stuff inside a truck, and get himself a vehicle. There's a little side story, I don't know, side story, I guess it's technically part of the story, that happens during it while you're there, and you find out that Bill had a partner, and you actually find that partner. He killed himself after being bitten.
Did you find the note?
No. There's a note? I searched that place up and down. How did I miss that note?
That's what I love about this game. There's all sorts of little hidden stuff.
I saw a whole bunch of this.
You can find a note that the guy who killed himself wrote to Bill, and he's just like, "I hate you so much. I'd rather die than spend one more day there with you. You're such a jerk. You're such an awful person. And I bet if you find this note, you're just gonna take all my stuff anyways, or some crap like that." And you can give it to Bill, and he reads it, and he's just like, "Oh, what an asshole!" And he crumples up and he just kind of crumples it up. And then as you leave, you can actually see him throw it and kind of bounce on the floor. So it's interesting little side stuff like that you wouldn't see otherwise.
I found a lot of side notes and everything that had to do with a couple stories, especially down in that sewer.
Oh, that sewer. That's Ishmael. That's what they're hoping, that the single-player DLC, because it's already been announced there's going to be 2 multiplayer DLCs and 1 single-player. And so we're hoping the single-player is Ish's story. Because you kind of got to follow it tangentially, but to actually experience it, I think, would be pretty interesting, although...
You already know how it pretty much goes.
You already know how that goes. So, speaking of which, so you say goodbye to Bill. Bill makes it. The whole time, James is like, "Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's dead. Bill's dead.
He's gonna die.
Yep. Trish is dead. Bill's gonna die. Everyone's gonna die. Everyone's dead. Happy dead day." Bill does not die.
Did you get some dead?
Did you get some dead? Would you like some dead? No, Bill does not die because Bill is a BA. He stays in his little fortified castle, and but of course he has his comic books and porno mag stolen by Ellie.
Yeah. The poor guys have nothing to read.
Poor guy. But continue on. You go on to Pittsburgh.
Yup. There's a bunch of cars in the way, and Joel's contemplating turning around, but he decides to keep going.
Yep.
And there's a guy calling out for help. He's covered in blood. And little Miss Page there. He's like, "Aren't you getting help?" He's like, he's not even hurt, not even a little. He slams on the gas, and the guy actually whips out the gun, starts shooting at you. Just a bunch of bandits pop out of nowhere. To kill all of them, you obviously wrecked the vehicle. Yep. You're a little beat up. You got to get through this stupid town. and they have a freaking armored freaking tank pretty much.
It's a up armored Humvee with a blast shield on.
Yeah, and it's got the 50 cal turret there, so it's pain in the freaking butt. You gotta get through that entire town. You end up running into 2 people. One there's an older brother. I'd say he's probably 20 something.
Yeah, mid to late 20s.
Yeah, so he was probably either a teeny little baby when the whole thing happened, and he was born around the time it happened, anyways.
Yeah.
And his younger brother Sam, Henry, and his younger brother Sam.
Yep.
And you end up teaming up with them. They have a plan to sneak out of the town.
Well, interesting story there. When they first showed up, I'm super suspicious of everybody in these kind of games.
Yeah.
You saw me in The Walking Dead. When they first showed up, I'm like, nope, don't trust them. Don't trust them. And then they slowly won me over. I don't know if it's a combination of the voice acting or the motion. The actor did a really good job. I really like those characters. And then they go and screw it all up.
Yeah.
So what you need help on the truck there? You need help on the truck there? Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna leave you.
Okay. Well, my first thought was not as paranoid and they're gonna screw us over. No, my first thought was, they're gonna die. They're going to die. They're gonna die so many times.
Just like Bill.
Just like Bill. They're gonna die. You just get some dead. Anyways, what happens is you boost up Henry up there. You boost up his little brother Sam, and you boost up little Miss Paige there. The ladder that they're using to climb up and everything falls and breaks down. Joel's by himself now. The people are breaking through, and Henry books it. He's like, I'm sorry, and takes Sam and goes. And little Miss Paige there, instead of staying up there and running off with them, jumps down and helps you out. And you end up getting away, and you run into them again after you jump off a bridge. Now, little Miss Paige there can't swim, but she's the first one to jump to convince Joel to jump, saying, hey, you can keep me afloat, because this is our only option here. So they jump down there. The tides are going all crazy. He grabs her and then ends up getting hit in the head. Some of the debris that's down there, it's used to be part of a bridge. Yep. And he gets knocked out. You wake up, and you're with Sam and Henry again. You almost kill Henry for leaving you, but they end up saving your life. They end up spotting you and saving you from drowning.
Yep.
So, and he kind of makes the comment, what would you do then? Would you have come back for me? And it's like, well. And the plus side, he did technically, ow, my elbow, he did technically save little Miss Paige there. I mean, you can keep calling her little Miss Paige. Anyways, Ellie. You happy now? I called her by her real name.
Thank you.
Ellie. Anyways. She ended up jumping down anyways. So you guys team up again. You go through the sewers. We find, like we were talking about earlier, the little side notes. Apparently, this is one guy who was living down there by himself. And there was this group.
Named Ish.
Ish, yeah. There's this group that he was helping out, and they would trade things. He'd give him bullets, they would give him food, and everything.
He ended up kind of joining up as kind of like their security guard, more or less.
He trusted them only because they had kids. There's 2 or 3 kids with them. And so he ends up giving them the option to come and stay in the sewer with them because he's made it real safe. Well, later you find out.
They tried to make like a school for the kids, and they had like a,
You find this little classroom and everything. It's really depressing. You find this one room, and there's a corpse there, and under a blanket there's 2 more. But you could kind of tell they're a little smaller. Yeah. And you find a note, and it says, I don't know if anyone else is out there. I'm pretty sure we're the only survivors. I've been bitten, so I don't got much time left. I'm trying to keep the kids happy and safe. If there's anyone left, maybe they'll get us in time. If not, I'll make it quick and painless. And so, kind of figure what happened. Signed Kyle. It's like, oh, well, this isn't Ish. It's maybe one of the other guys. Later, you find one more note. And it is, this time, Ish. He gets out. And he made a comment that it took one of us to forget to close one door. And they just came flooding in. He made it, and so did the mother of the kids. They were able to put a little sign that says, infected in here, do not go in here. Of course, that was on the opposite side. So once we got through all that, we saw the notes. Yeah. And so it's like super sad. And he in the comment he makes a comment in the note that he kind of feels like it's not worth it. They probably should just give up, but he refuses to. Mm-hmm. Just because it'd be easier. And he says something like, "I have to stay strong for her." Yeah. So it's really depressing. But that's kind of the world that they're in now.
That is definitely the world that we're in now.
And it only gets worse. I called this.
Okay, well, first off, we have, what you might call the big final action scene of the season. You make it to the suburbs, and you make it down this row of houses, and there's a sniper. You have to go house to house, and you eventually kill the sniper. And as soon as you do that, who should show up but the hunters
and the armored tank thing, the Humvee.
Yeah.
And so the other three, Henry, Sam, and Ellie,
yes,
are all running away from it. And you have to use the sniper and start taking all these guys. And eventually, the guy sneaks down, starts throwing like the little, rag and alcohol lighted on fire and kind of grenade thing. You shoot him, so he drops it inside the Humvee, and it catches fire and blows up and goes off. You're like, whoo, we did it, we survived. And then all hell breaks loose again because a crap load of runners and clickers start showing up out of nowhere. They were attracted probably from the fight.
Yeah.
And they get Sam and Henry get tackled. You were able to shoot off one of them, and then Ellie gets the other one.
Yeah.
During the whole thing, Ellie keeps saying, "Hey, give me a gun, I can help you." And he refuses to give her a gun, but eventually she ends up grabbing a gun and saving you because the gun got knocked on the ground. And so eventually Joel, you suck it up and let her have a gun. And remember, this is only for emergencies. It's it.
I killed the shit out of him, didn't I?
So, later that night, they're, having a good time. They realize they made it. Things are looking, sunny, even though it's nighttime. They're trading stores, they're eating food and everything. Ellie and Sam kind of have a moment. And then Ellie gives him a toy that his older brother Henry wouldn't let him take.
Henry was really big on don't take anything you don't need.
Yeah.
And so things like toys, you don't need it, can't take it.
Yeah. And he was thrown on the ground. I called this, of course. And lifts up his pant leg, and you see that he was bit. Next morning, Ellie wakes up to the smell of breakfast cooking. Asks where Sam was, and Henry said, "I thought I'd let him sleep in. If you want him here, you can go wake him up." She says, "Okay." She opens the door, and you can only see the back of him, and he's kind of twitching there. You just hear her scream, "Sam," and she comes falling out with the infected Sam trying to eat her face. Joel goes to get his gun to shoot him, but Henry won't let him. And then Henry ends up shooting him. After, Joel kind of made it clear this is going to have to happen.
Guess that.
And Joel's trying to calm down Henry. He's afraid that Henry might go berserk and, kill everyone. Yeah. In tears, not knowing what to do, and blaming Joel, but then ends up shooting himself. And that's how it ends.
That's the end of the first that's the end of the summer portion of the game. Yes, you did call that. Well, I'm not sure how much time we have left, so I don't want to go into too much mechanics. We'll break it up. When the video, we'll talk about that portion of the story, plus mechanics and the portion of that story and the world and so on and so forth. So for this closing one, just to wrap up some initial thoughts, how do you feel about this game thus far?
Today was a good day. Yes. The game, like I already said, it seems freaking off the hook awesome. You got it. Even when you're at an advantage, you're at a disadvantage. I mean, it's very hard. You get to scrounge for everything, and then you got to be super quiet. You got to do the sneaky thing, and there's that scare factor.
But you went into that one fight, and you're like, oh, I can't even pick this stuff up. I'm full and everything. And then not too long after that, you're like, oh. Wait, what happened to my bombs? Who took all my bombs? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I used them all.
Yeah. I'm getting all cocky. I got all my guns full, the ammo. I'm maxed out on all my things. Maxed out my rupees. And after the fight was over, I was kind of, I had nothing.
It hurting.
It's pretty intense.
The game has a good way of making you feel like you've scrounged enough, that you're set, that you're ready to go, and then making you feel like even if you have enough, it's never enough.
Exactly. So it's got the scrounger, it's got the scare factor. Gosh, I'd rather fight the hunters, the living any day over those infected people, because you're always fighting. Not always. Majority of the time, you are fighting them like in the sewer or at nighttime or something. I hate when you go in the sewer and there's already spores everywhere. So you got your mask on. So it's already really hard to see because it's in the sewer, no light.
It's hard to hear.
Hard to hear everything. You're just like walking around. Oh my god, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hate it.
It's pretty intense.
It's a good hate.
It's a good hate. It's intense. There's several times
like camping.
There you go. There's several points in that game where I was just like, okay, I feel pretty overwhelmed at this moment. I need to take a break, go do something else. You could. James can attest to this. There's what I was playing with headphones on, and I came to a certain portion. I was just like,
He's like, okay, I want to finish this game. I don't want you to see anything for spoil. And then I said, no way, bro. Oh, welcome back. Yes, you might have missed it, but we just had an intense conversation. It was just off the hook, awesome.
of course. Let's wrap this up real quickly. Again, we'll talk about specifics on mechanics, specifics on worlds, specifics on the story in the later installments. Of course, it's going to be 4 installments in total, which means we need to hurry up and get to some of these other games. We don't have too much time going on.
Nope. I go home to the States soon.
Yes. Oh man, this is Monday, and you leave Thursday.
It is
Crazy.
Monday. Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm running out of time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye bye.